Strict liability is a theory of law found in both criminal and civil law. Both areas of law hold that in such cases, the defendant is strictly liable for the results that occur, regardless of their intent or actions, resulting in liability without fault. In this video we are going to focus on torts, and the areas where a claim for strict liability may potentially be found. The three main areas where a strict liability claim can be found are: 1. Liability for animal owners, 2. Activities that are ultra-hazardous or abnormally dangerous, or 3. Under the category of product liability. There are other areas such as nuisance, or misrepresentation, but those will not be covered here. So let's start with the prima facie for a case involving animals or activities. In order to move forward with a claim for a strict liability case, you'll need to show the following elements: 1. The existence of an absolute duty to make safe, 2. A breach of that duty, 3. The breach of that duty was the actual and proximate cause of harm, and 4. Foreseeable damage to the plaintiff person or property. In a case involving animals, when the animal is domesticated, the owner is not liable unless that animal has known vicious propensities or has a history of biting or attacking. However, owners are strictly liable for damage caused by trespassing animals such as livestock or by kept wild animals. Next, under the first restatement of torts, certain activities were listed as ultra-hazardous. Those activities were blasting, drilling, and fumigating. It was originally thought that anyone who was injured was most likely an innocent party and the defendant knew what they were doing. This was especially true when the activities mentioned could potentially cause harm to those who were nowhere near the danger zone. Under the second restatement, the description of the activities were changed to abnormally dangerous. Here, they broadened the definition so the nature of the activities and not the activities themselves were questioned. There are 3 elements required for activities to fall into this category. 1 is that the activity is not a matter of common usage in the community. The second is that the activity will create a serious risk of harm that is foreseeable. The third element is that the activity cannot be made safe. A great example is the case Rylands vs. Fletcher, in which some mines were flooded by a mill owner's reservoir, and is recommended reading for this topic. The actual breach can be pulled from the facts. Like most other torts, causation, actual and proximate cause are considered. Foreseeability and proximate cause can cut off liability in these cases. Even though these types of activities have liability without fault, there are a few times when the defendant will have defenses to raise. In a common law jurisdiction, contributory negligence may be used if it can be shown that the plaintiff knew of the potential for harm and was at least partially responsible for their own injury. Additionally, an assumption of the risk defense may be used, as it can be considered as a foreseeable action on the part of the defendant. Finally, in jurisdictions that don't allow contributory negligence, comparative negligence is available if the situation calls for it. The third area is products liability, which is also called strict products liability and torts. Product liability is a category that encompasses several theories, including negligence and intentional torts. However, strict liability and tort focuses specifically in that area and products. To prove the prima facie case, these elements must be shown. 1. The defendant must be a merchant. A merchant is one who deals in goods that are its subject, and not just a casual seller. 2. The product was defective when it was sold. It will not satisfy the element if the product has been altered after it left the merchant's possession. Whether the defect was based on a manufacturing defect or a design defect, the merchant is ultimately liable. 3. Causation. The plaintiff must show that the defendant's production of the defective product was the cause of the harm which was foreseeable. And 4. The defendant or their property were harmed by the defective product. There are a few defenses available to merchants under a strict liability and torts claim. A defense of comparative negligence may be used when it can be shown a user used the product in an unforeseeable way. Also, when there is a scientifically unknowable risk, the merchant may be relieved of liability. If the product is a potentially unsafe product, such as a knife, assumption of the risk and unforeseeable uses may also be used as defenses for the merchant. Thanks for watching. We hope that this helps with your studies.